All right, so we are going to review Learning Target 10D. Hopefully you watched my video on inscribed angles before you started this, just to kind of refresh your memory. But it says, understand and use the relationships between central angles and inscribed angles and their intercepted arc to calculate arc and angle measures, including for angles inscribed in a semicircle. So I'm not going to do all of these on this page with you. I have highlighted the ones that I want to do with you. So we are going to go ahead and look at this top section. It says, state if each angle is an inscribed angle. If it is, name the angle and the intercepted arc. So we're going to do 1 and 4 together. So number 1, we want to first identify it as an inscribed angle. This is an inscribed angle because the vertex is on the circle. So yes, it is inscribed, and let's name the angle. Angle BAC. You could also say angle CAB, okay? And then we want to name the intercepted arc. So the arc that this angle intercepts, right, is arc BC. Make sure when you're naming the arc that you put the little arc symbol above. Okay. All right, now looking here at number 4. This is not an inscribed angle because its vertex is not on the circle. Okay, the vertex is actually on the center. So it's not inscribed. It's actually a central angle. So you're going to go ahead and do 2 and 3. Let's jump to that next section. Find the measure of the arc or angle indicated. We're going to do 6 and 8 together. Alrighty, so what I like to do is first look at what I'm given. The only thing I'm given is that the diameter is XV, right, because it goes through the center, and I'm given the measure of angle X is 42. So sometimes I like to actually go through and highlight any angles that I'm given because it helps me see intercepted arcs. Right, so I want to find the measure of WV. So if I look, inscribed angle X intercepts arc WV. And so WV, oh, sorry, that's an arc. WV is going to equal 42 times 2. Remember that intercepted arcs are double inscribed angles. All right, here we're looking at number 8. I see that I have a triangle and I want to find this arc. To find this arc, I like to look at what angle intercepts it, and I see that's angle B. So I need to find angle B. To do that, let's go ahead and use our triangle angle sum theorem. So we have 180, and if we subtract 49 and subtract 70, we're going to get the measure of angle B. When you do that, you're going to get 61 degrees. So I like to label that on my diagram. And now from here, I can find the measure of arc DC. We know that inscribed angles are half of the intercepted arc. So then that means intercepted arcs are double their inscribed angle. So we're going to take 61. We're going to multiply that by 2. and we'll be left with 122 degrees. I believe you guys are going to actually have a show what you know for number 7. All right, let's go ahead and flip to the back. We are going to do 9 and 12 together, and then number 14. So we only have 3 more left that I'm going to do with you. It's raining outside, but I don't know if you guys can hear the rain or not. So I guess we'll have to find out. All right, let's look at number 9. This one's a little complicated. Okay, so we know that arc GH is 160 degrees. So I'm going to write that down. We need to find FV. All right, so what I see, I'm going to do this in a couple different parts. I see angle FVH is 119 degrees. And I also see that the arc it intercepts is FGH. That looks like I just circled the entire circle. Maybe that will help. Okay, so the measure of arc FGH is going to be double of its inscribed angle. So that's going to be 119 degrees times 2, which is 238 degrees. Now we can use that to find the measure of arc FG. So let's go ahead and do that. So the measure of arc FG, all right, we know that together FGH is 238 degrees. And then if I know that arc GH is 168, I can find the leftover piece. So I'm going to do 238 degrees minus 168 degrees. What should I get for that? I'm going to pause for a minute and let you guys catch up. I want you to find that arc measure. And I did move kind of quickly on this problem, so I'm going to give you just a minute. All right, so you should get 70 degrees. So let's go ahead and label that. I'm going to go in with a different color now. Oh. Let's choose green. Okay. That still does not help me find the measure. I mean, that will help me find the measure of arc FV, but that's our goal. We're trying to get there. So the next thing I see that we have another inscribed angle here. VHG is 65 degrees. That intercepted arc is VFG. So let's go ahead and calculate the measure of that arc. So the measure of arc VFG, I'm going to pause for a minute and I'd like you to go ahead and find the measure of that arc. All right, so we are going to take 65 and multiply it by 2. You should get 130 degrees. And then now we're going to apply the same kind of method that we used before. If we know that VFG is 130, and then we know that FG is 70, we can use subtraction to find what FV is. So the measure of arc FV is going to be 130 minus 70. And you should get 60 degrees. As your final answer. I'm going to come up in here and kind of clean this picture up a little bit. Okay, so this problem was pretty involved. It looks a little more involved because I did write out all my steps. But I think I solve this problem a different way almost every time I do it. So if you thought of a different way to do it, I want you to go ahead and explore that way. Because there are different ways to attempt this problem. That one I think is probably the trickiest one on this entire learning target practice sheet. All right, let's look at number 12. I want to solve for x. All right, I see that we have an inscribed angle here, and then its intercepted arc. So if I want to find x, I need to set up an equation here. I know that there are two different ways you could set this up, but I know that to get from my inscribed angle to my intercepted arc, I multiply by 2. So 2 times 31x plus 3 equals 192. And from here we should be able to go ahead and solve for x. One way you can do it is to distribute. I'm going to go ahead and divide everything by 2 first. So we'll get 31x plus 3 equals 96. From here, we'll subtract 3 from both sides. Divide by 31. You should get that x is 3. And then you can go back through and check it, right? 31 times 3 plus 3 should give you 96. When you multiply by 2, you should get 192. So that does check out. All right, then let's do our last one, number 14. We want to find the measure of arc FGH. FGH. In order to do that, though, we need to find x. Notice that we have a quadrilateral that is inscribed in a circle. What do we know about opposite angles in the quadrilateral inscribed in a circle? Okay, they're supplementary. So let's go ahead and set up an equation. 21x minus 2 equals 38x plus 5. Oh my goodness, I messed up. Hold on. I said they're supplementary, not equal to each other. So that should equal 180. That was my bad. From here, let's go ahead and combine our like terms. So 21x plus 38x gives me 59x. And then I have negative 2 plus 5, which is 3. So from here, we'll subtract 3 on both sides. 177. And then divide everything by 59. So you'll get that x is 3. So from here, what I see, if I want to find arc FGH, I see that the inscribed angle that forms that arc is FAH. So if I can find the measure of that angle, I can find the measure of the arc. So let's go ahead and let's plug in 3 for x to find the measure of angle FAH. And I believe you get 110. So then to find the measure of arc FGH, you take 110 and double it. So you should get 238 degrees. Wait, why did I get 238? That's not right. My bad, you should get 220. And you can even check that. Okay, pause. Let's go back. You've probably noticed by now that I made a computation mistake. 38 times 3 plus 5 is actually 119 degrees. So then we want to take 119 times 2. And you should get 238. If you notice that I made another computation mistake, like I added wrong, multiplied incorrectly, let me know. Okay, that is the last one I'm going to do with you. So I hope this video was helpful in reviewing how to apply what we know about inscribed angles to find missing arcs, missing angles. Let me know if you have any further questions. Just shoot me an email.